Yo guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to talk about what I believe are the 3 most frustrating Rift Guardians to run into while pushing. When you're running speeds, the Rift Guardian that you summon is not particularly that important because you're going to take them down fast enough where they're typically just not a threat. But when you're pushing and you have to have a long drawn out battle with the Rift Guardian, these are the 3 that I find the most frustrating. Starting with number 1, we're going to go with Cold Snap. There are 2 reasons that I absolutely hate this boss, and the first one is the one-shot charge that he does. There seems to be very little or a very quick tell before he does it, but generally it just feels really hard to avoid, and for most builds, you're just going to get taken down in one hit. The other issue, of course, is that there's a really high probability that if you don't have some kind of CC immune build, you're going to get frozen into place. And if he's got enough distance, he can freeze you and then charge and one-shot you. A general strategy that I like to take against him is to not give him much distance if possible. When you're in close range, he is not actually going to charge you. You do have to have some distance from him before he will actually make that charge, so try to stay close and in melee range, or at least not too far out to the point where he's going to charge you. Another tip that I have when you're fighting this boss is that you can use certain terrain to actually block his charge. So if you can hide behind some kind of tree or rock, he will run into it and generally will not connect with you. Moving on to number 2, I'm going to go with the Choker. Although the Choker can be a little bit annoying in solo play, I also find him a little bit difficult in group play. My issue with him is that he likes to slide from side to side and back and forth a lot, and he seems to have a small hitbox and kind of some like targeting issues. This can cause him to teleport to other players, which can cause complications and slow your damage down. Of course, you've also got a lot of poison pools on the ground, and then you've also got these detonating poison pools that can do substantial damage if you get hit by them. And lastly, he does summon minions, which for some builds isn't the end of the world because it's an opportunity to proc an Oculus Ring, but for other builds that are more focused on that single target damage, just trying to take the Rift Guardian down, those minions can soak up a ton of damage. Considering all these issues, he definitely makes my top 3 list for the worst and most annoying Rift Guardians. And for number 3, I'm going to go with the Man Carver. The Man Carver or Butcher really likes to put up those walls, which can absolutely get in your way if you're playing a ranged class. His aggro seems to reset fairly often, and he loves to teleport to the furthest away player. With him often teleporting to the furthest away player, it can create enough distance between you and him for him to throw out his fan of chains. Now his single chain that he throws out is really not that big of a deal, but when he throws out that fan, it can absolutely one-shot you, and there's very little time to react. Similar to Cold Snap, I do recommend trying to fight him as close as you can so that he will not do his fan of chains very often, and his melee attacks are generally pretty easy to avoid. Well guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. Pretty short video, but go ahead and drop a comment down below and let me know which Rift Guardian you hate the most in Diablo 3 and why. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.